Last year I had to sit at home and do nothing, and I knew there was something going on far away. Somewhere I needed to be, but I just wasn't there. I was sat at home knowing I was missing the party. I was missing Bristol and Steve Davis. Yes, Steve Davis, the 6 times world champion snooker player. The man I grew up watching dominate on BBC Two was doing a live DJ set in Bristol. And this was part of the after show party of Machina Bristronica, which is like a synthesizer festival in Bristol. I knew next year things were going to be different. We were going to go to this festival. So a year later, plus a 4-hour drive, I arrive. And in the first room, there's someone wearing like a pig mask with light up eyes and playing drums and synthesizer at the same time. And I knew right there and then the drive was worth it. So this was Paddy Steer playing live, and oh man, it was amazing. This was the performance room, and over 2 days there was regular performances, and once more it was really good and worth the ticket price alone. There was such a good range of artists, and it was really good getting up close and seeing how they worked. I found it quite inspirational and made me want to kind of go back home and play with the gear I've got to make some more music. Over the 2 days I saw Look No More Computer, and also he took some covers from the crowd and really worked the crowd quite well. He really knows how to use his setup, and that was really cool to watch. I also seen Heimbach. He had quite an interesting setup with a really long tape loop that was across the performance area. This is very different to Look More Computer. It was also very different from Synthfest, I guess, in Sheffield. I think if Synthfest really wanted to grow, I think this could be the next step, having a space for live performances. I think that would add a lot more to the festival. Later in the day, Anthony Roffer did an amazing job of getting the party started. As I say, over the 2 days, there was such a wide range of performances. I really liked Heineko Omari's set, and yeah, copyright, I'm not going to play any of it, but I will put links below. I didn't see any electric pianos on display during these live sets, but I guess that just wasn't the place or the vibe for that. So the next place I kind of worth mentioning was there's a large stage area for DIY projects, and this is a space where you could book to build a certain module and work with a vendor to kind of build that module. And I think this is really cool, as it bridges the gap between someone who wants to make something but is unsure and doesn't have the confidence. So I really quite enjoyed that exists. There was also a DivKid stage, and he performed regular interviews and gear demonstrations. I quite enjoyed the stage. It seemed a bit commercial at some of the talks, but it was also good seeing the tech, and some of it was quite early or mid-developed. So seeing tech that didn't quite work as well was also quite good. But it was really laid back, it had a good atmosphere, and everyone was really friendly and easy to chat to, so it just felt like a good atmosphere. Yeah, it was really nice. So there was also room for discussions, and I managed to watch a couple of these, and both are really good. The first was by Milo Melodies in discussion with Doepfer, and this is a history of how he started making modules and the birth of what we know as Eurorack. And if I can find a video of that, I'll put it in the comments or in the description below. And the second talk was with Dave Rossum of Emu. And it was interesting hearing how the technology that created the Emu laters grew, and how he kind of created programs that would allow for these pitch shifting and sampling to happen. It definitely left me wanting to have a go at writing my own sampler. Maybe that's something we could try in the future. There was lots of interesting information about how his business has ran and some of the issues that came across over the time. And once more, that was really quite interesting, and I really enjoyed it. I haven't mentioned the main room yet. This is a room where there was a lot of vendors. And this is a great space to kind of talk, meet the vendors, and have a play of lots of equipment. Much like Synthfest, it didn't feel like there was any pressure to kind of buy anything. It was more just a demonstration space. Most of the vendors were modular based, which was good, but I think some of the non-modular vendors would have been quite good here. I'm sure if Vintage Vibe or Rhodes had a Mac 8, or even Valenti Piano had a demonstration here, I don't think it would have went quiet over the 2 days. Maybe I am missing the point again. This is maybe a modular event. So I think Novation definitely had the best display. Well, check out this display of keyboards and all the lights. That is really cool. Also, the keyboards were fun to play with. But as I said last time, I'm not going to demo any of these instruments in this video. I think I will talk about anything that jumped out, but you're better off watching a researched video on the product you're interested in rather than me struggle to play with it for 2 minutes and make it look bad. I'm sure nobody needs that. That doesn't help you or the vendors. But yeah, one thing that did hit me is this is very different to Synthfest. I'll start with some highlights. So I quite liked Orca contact microphones, and the reason I quite liked them, I guess, is because they had this test frame with different metallic parts that we could hit and kind of test how the microphone reacted. And having spent the last 2 or 3 years hitting different shaped bits of metal to try and come up with my own electric piano, I felt like this kind of resonated, no pun intended, with what I'd been doing and where my mind's at. But yeah, it was very fun and did leave me wanting to have a contact microphone to have a play with. Like, what does an electric piano sound like through a contact microphone? I think my favourite stand at the show was Gel Dream, and they had some modular products, but they also had some quite fun experimental stuff, like this miniature guitar, and there was also a stack of saw blades with guitar pickups, so when you hit them it kind of created like a bell-like tone, much like a church bell. I enjoyed messing with these and kind of chatting to the guys on the stand, and it was really quite interesting and did resonate a bit with some of the research I've been doing with my own electric piano. Now for the rest of the show, there were some great vendors and I tried to talk to them all to see what they were selling and get an understanding on what they were up to. And I enjoyed talking to Patch and Panda, and they had some great like drum modules. They were fun to play with. Enjoyed talking to the Godfather. This was quite an interesting module that seemed to tie together the Moog sound system. But I'm going to put my hands up in the air and say I'm maybe not the best person to talk about modular gear, and it wouldn't be fair for me to kind of really talk much more on it. So I probably really shouldn't talk about electric pianos, really. It's a bit like Fred Flintstone talking about the internet. He's not the guy to do it, and I'm not the guy to do it. So I'm going to put some footage on here that I quite enjoyed, but for a lot of it, I'm still learning and got a long way to go. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do like and subscribe. And it was a bit sad that this year Steve Davis wasn't there. But as I was leaving, I did spot this guy. What a hero.